Ancient Greece's most shocking sacred rituals. They don't teach in schools. The marble columns stand silent now, their secrets buried beneath centuries of dust and scholarly discretion. But these sacred spaces once witnessed rituals so profound, so shocking to modern sensibilities, that they've been carefully omitted from our textbooks. Welcome to the hidden world of ancient Greece, where religion, fertility, and human nature intertwined in ways that would scandalize Victorian scholars and challenge our modern understanding of ancient civilization. The world they hid from us for over 2 millennia. We've been taught about ancient Greece through a sanitized lens. Plato's philosophy, Athenian democracy, Olympic Games, all noble pursuits that painted the Greeks as marble statue perfect intellectuals. But Victorian scholars, horrified by what they discovered in ancient texts, made a deliberate choice. They would preserve Greek wisdom while burying Greek passion. The truth? Ancient Greeks viewed sexuality and spirituality as inseparable forces. Their most sacred ceremonies celebrated fertility, passion, and the divine creative power that flows through all life. The Dionysiac mysteries deep in the mountains outside Athens, when the moon was dark and the city slept, the most devoted followers of Dionysus gathered for rituals that would transform them forever. The Dionysiac mysteries weren't just religious ceremonies, they were spiritual journeys that broke down every barrier between the sacred and the profane, between civilization and primal nature. Initiates would drink wine mixed with unknown herbs, their consciousness expanding as they prepared to commune with the god of ecstasy himself. Women, called maenads, led these ceremonies with an authority that shocked the male-dominated society. What happened next challenged every social convention. In these sacred spaces, class distinctions vanished. Slave and citizen, young and old, male and female, all became equal before Dionysus. The rituals involved sacred union ceremonies where participants, in altered states of consciousness, experienced what they believed was direct communion with divine creative force. These weren't acts of mere pleasure. They were profound spiritual practices designed to transcend human limitations. The Eleusinian Mysteries, 14 miles from Athens, lay Eleusis, home to the most secretive and respected mysteries in the ancient world. For over 1,000 years, pilgrims traveled here seeking spiritual rebirth. The Eleusinian Mysteries centered on Demeter, goddess of harvest, and her daughter Persephone's journey to the underworld. But the true secrets of these ceremonies died with their last initiates. We know that initiates drank a sacred potion called kykeon, a mixture that modern scholars believe contained psychoactive compounds. What followed was a night of visions so profound that initiates claim to lose all fear of death. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, philosopher Cicero, and playwright Sophocles all took these rites. They spoke of witnessing the sacred marriage between sky and earth, experiencing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth that governs all existence. In the deepest chamber of the temple, in absolute darkness, initiates encountered something so transformative that they were sworn to secrecy on pain of death. Many scholars believe they witnessed sacred fertility rites that symbolized the divine creative force, bringing life from apparent death. The sacred prostitution of Aphrodite on the island of Cyprus, in Corinth, and across the Greek world, temples to Aphrodite housed a practice that modern minds struggle to comprehend: sacred prostitution. But these weren't houses of commerce. They were temples where physical union was understood as a pathway to divine experience. Sacred prostitutes, called hierodules, were respected religious practitioners, not exploited individuals. Visitors came not seeking mere pleasure, but spiritual transformation. The act itself was preceded by purification rituals, prayers, and offerings. It was believed that through sacred union with Aphrodite's representatives, mortals could experience the goddess's divine love. The priestesses were highly educated, often poets and philosophers in their own right. They understood their role as sacred, channeling divine feminine energy to heal the wounded souls of those who sought Aphrodite's blessing. The fertility festivals every spring, Greek cities erupted in festivals celebrating fertility and renewal. The Thesmophoria, Anthesteria, and rural Dionysia transformed communities into sacred spaces where normal rules were suspended. During these festivals, married women left their homes to perform secret fertility rites. They carried sacred objects, told forbidden stories, and participated in ceremonies designed to ensure the community's prosperity. Archaeological evidence reveals the use of phallic symbols, fertility dolls, and sacred cakes shaped like reproductive organs. These weren't crude jokes. They were profound religious symbols representing life force itself. For 3 days, social hierarchies dissolved. Servants mocked masters, women claimed public spaces, and the entire community celebrated the creative power that ensures survival. Why they hid the truth when Christian Europe rediscovered Greek texts during the Renaissance, scholars faced a dilemma. How could they celebrate Greek intellectual achievements while confronting practices that challenged Christian moral doctrine? The solution was selective translation and careful omission. Passages describing sacred sexuality were left untranslated, relegated to footnotes in Latin, or dismissed as pagan excess. This sanitized version became the foundation of Western education. We learned about Greek philosophy, democracy, and art, but never about the spiritual practices that Greeks themselves considered most sacred. The Greeks understood something we've forgotten, that sexuality and spirituality aren't opposing forces, but aspects of the same divine creative energy that drives the universe itself. Lessons from the past today, as we grapple with questions of sexuality, spirituality, and human nature. Perhaps it's time to reconsider what the Greeks really knew. Their sacred rituals weren't shocking aberrations. They were sophisticated spiritual technologies designed to connect humans with divine creative force. The marble temples may be silent now, but their message echoes across millennia. The sacred and the sensual are not enemies, but partners in the dance of existence. Some truths are too profound for textbooks. Some mysteries are meant to be lived, not merely studied.